some of the uh, factors of leadership, and these I pulled from a book that everybody is familiar with. You can see here what book it is. Can you see?
Um, Think and Grow Rich, yeah. The good old
Yes.
book.
Yeah. And everybody that you come across has tapped into this book at some point in their career. And according to the book, some of the leadership characteristic here is unwavering courage based upon knowledge of
Yeah.
self and one's occupation. Do you agree with that? Is that something that you're currently doing? That's the first one. There's 11 of them. I just gave you the first one. Is that something that you're currently? I'm gonna go first. For most of the things that I want to do, yes, I have that courage, but there are moments where I'm hesitant to follow my guts and follow what I really want to do. And that's when there's a lack of courage. So what I would say is the lack of consistency when it comes to courage is something that I need to work on. Go.
Yeah. Yes, I am. Of course, I think same thing you just said. Of course, I find myself at times where I'm like, don't really want to do it, or I'm nervous. Um, but I find a way over that really quickly by just getting it done and out the way. And I've even found another trick. It's whenever my back is against the wall, meaning I have to do this because, or else there's bigger consequences that come from this. That's when I don't care. I have, hey, whatever you throw at me, man, you can tell me literally, Ronnie, jump off this bridge. If I have, like, literally, if my back is against the wall, it will get done. And that's just how I have experienced my courage in certain situations where I've done a lot of things, and would say in the past couple of months that I just despise not doing, and I hate it. But it's my back is against the wall, and I got to do what I got to do.
Yeah.
And that's why I would say that that's where the courage, at least my back against the wall, helps me with my courage, but it's also not something that I enjoy feeling on a regular basis. So it's a pro and a con at the same time.
Yeah. It's having the balance with it and seeing.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's just being aware of it though, and
Yeah.
it works. Sometimes it doesn't. But courage is.
Yeah.
That's one thing I did not think about when I was looking on my list, but glad it's here for us to be reminded. The second one is self-control.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think
you grow up and you learn.
you get better at it. You
Yeah.
get as
Yeah.
experience as you go through challenging situations. You understand that, hey, I could have approached this situation a bit better than I did, and you know, some people learn from those mistakes and some don't.
Yeah.
But yes,
Like not even challenging moments, but like addictions.
Yeah.
I think those are extremely difficult to get over. However, I think as you grow and maybe find different loves for different things, you kind of detach yourself from that. I've never really been addicted to anything in particular, so there's a lot of things I used to do in my past that I have no problem not doing today, and everybody around me can still do it, and I'm just looking at them like, yeah, I'm good, just because I know exactly what I need to get done. So it's the addiction, I would say, is a huge one in it, in terms of like, just as time goes on, you can just leave that stuff in the past. It's definitely going to take time though.
Yeah. That was one thing that was challenging at first because of, at least for me, the habit of wanting to please other as well. So I'll be in a situation when we talk about drinking, for example, I'll be out and like, hey, everybody's drinking, I'll feel inclined to drink as well. So that's one area where I really had to develop that self-control and say, you know, at the end of the day, it's my liver that's in play, that's at play here. So my health overall. So those shots are good, but I've got to do what's best for me.
Man, remember those days in college? Woo.
Don't bring me back to those. The next one is a keen sense of justice.
A keen sense of justice.
Yes. I don't
like really
if we go back to that example that you brought up earlier, where you say you didn't, you didn't have any compassion into it. Do you feel as though you were being just
Yeah, I think so. I mean, I try to in every situation because I don't want no one taking advantage of me. So I would damn sure not want to take advantage of anybody else in the wrong way, right? So that's why I kind of say, I always try to look at different avenues and different perspectives before approaching a situation. And I do this on many different facets that the person that I'm talking to may not even understand or may not even
Right.
know what I went through to get to the point to even speak on it to them. So, yeah, I definitely do. I just don't think that's a big factor in it because
Yeah.
somebody may not care about somebody else's justice. And
Well,
that's
you
just
don't
kind of
have
the
to.
world we live in.
You don't have. Not. They don't. I don't think everybody else has to care. It's more on you applying it in your environment. So if it's
Yeah.
something that you embody, is that consistent with it, or you don't particularly see it as being necessary?
Yeah, I think definitely looking at things from a different perspective to provide that. And what we're trying to talk about is meeting somebody that may not understand, that may not think, that may
Yeah.
not have the same vision. So that is difficult to have justice right then and there. But I think if you do everything in your ability to get as close as possible to that, what more can you really do?
Yeah. I do, at least on my side, I would say yes. I believe in fairness. I believe in being just when in every situation possible. It's difficult at times, but you have to
Yeah.
do what needs to be done. Um, having, it says here, a definiteness of decision, just having, we talked about this, decision making.
Yeah.
Um, on
Yeah.
a scale of 1 to 5, I'm probably at a 4 right now. And that's me being generous with myself. If I was being hard, I would say 3, but it's there's room to grow there.
In terms of making decisions,
Yes.
gotcha. Yeah. I would say, yeah. I mean, I make tough decisions on a regular. I give myself, I guess, a 4, 5, 4.5, 5. Decisions have to be made. So whether I like it or not, it has to go. I mean, and that's just kind of, I'm okay with not satisfying everybody. I've been like this for quite some time. If you listen to previous episodes, I forgot which episode it was when I talked about, man, I stopped caring about what people thought about me years ago.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
that's just, decisions have to be made. And that's just that.
The next one is having a plan. Having
Mm.
that's one of those things where it changes often, and sometimes it pisses myself off. It's like, why is it? Because I'm such a perfectionist. I want things to go according to the way I see it, and that's not how life works, right? You're always going to be thrown a curveball, and you have to adjust to those curveball, which means your plans are going to change, and that makes me uncomfortable. And I have to admit it. It makes me uncomfortable having to change my plan, but I have to do what needs to be done. That goes back to making difficult decisions. But yeah, having a plan. Where do you see that? Do you see it as being like, is it a must as a leader? Is
Oh,
every
yeah.
leader should have a plan,
Absolutely.
or just go with the flow?
Yeah. No, you must have a plan. I'm gonna throw a curveball at you, but you must have a plan. Because if you don't have a plan, where are you going?
All right.
How are you gonna guide other people if you don't even know where you're going? Like
That's
that
true.
just logically doesn't make sense. So if you are a true indeed leader, you have to have a plan. Now your plan may change. That's perfectly fine. But at least you know where you're going. And that's why you're probably saying, it pisses you off and, some things don't happen as planned. And now it's like, oh my gosh, now you got yourself going all over the place. It's as long as you know the end,
Yeah.
everything in between does not matter. It's
Yeah.
the end.
Yeah.
And so if you don't have a plan, yeah, good luck, my man.
I
I'm going
think
to throw a curveball, like I said, though.
I
Go ahead,
think
go
to
ahead, go
to
ahead.
me, when I think about that, that one, having a plan. It reminds me of Earl Nightingale when in Stranger Secrets when you talk about
Yeah.
the ship leaving the harbor. If you just set it to have its own course, it's gonna go wherever. But if you set a straight destination, you will get to that destination. It may not happen
Yeah.
the way you see it working, but you will get there. Um,
Yep.
for those who are not
Yeah.
familiar with Earl Nightingale, you can find it on Audible, on YouTube. Stranger Secret is 30 minutes, the best 30 minutes you can probably have.
No. But here's your curveball. Since I know you're going through this list, I'm gonna purposely do this because I want you to get comfortable with it.
Okay.
Right? Not happening with your plan, which is you're gonna give one more off of that list, and then
Okay.
just list the rest of them.
Yeah.
And so I just want that. I want to throw that curveball at you to see,
Okay.
so
So one
you
off
can get
of the
used to it.
list. The habit of doing more than paid for. Do you go
Oh,
above and beyond in your, when you're delivering a service or providing a service, I should say, because we are all in the service industry, whether we like it or not.
yeah. I try to. I would say not on a consistent level though, because again, I'm human. So there's days where I don't feel like doing something, and those would be those days where, like, somebody within the service industry is just impacted, to not get that level of service that I gave somebody the other day, and that's nobody's fault but my own. So, I definitely will take accountability of that, of just kind of getting better at that aspect of it to be able to hold my standard at a high level and be able to have that expertise or even that exceptional service that some people may be looking for. But I would say I could do better at that. I don't think it's dire for a leader to have that. That's the one thing I will say. I don't think it's that important.
I may disagree with you on that, but again, our lists are not meant to be the same. For
Yeah.
me, I will say yes, but it strongly depend on my emotion at the time. Like, where is
Yeah.
my mood? If I'm in a good mood, man, I'll go to the moon for you. But if if I'm going through something, it plays a factor on how I respond to whatever the task is at hand. But
Yeah.
trying to get out of that and remove the emotion aspect, or at least remove the fact that emotion affect how I respond to situation, and just do the right thing, is something that will help me a long way. And I'm working on it. I'm working on it one day at a time. And you say list the rest of them, a pleasing personality, and then sympathy and understanding, mastery of details, willingness to assume full responsibility. I think that's a great one. Cooperation. But yeah, that's what we have.